I take care of 100% of the financial load, right? You have we'll just say 99% of the domestic load. If you decide to do something on the side or you have a side job, that doesn't, in my eyes, that doesn't exclude you from taking care of what you have to take care of in the house. So if
What
you're
have I
gonna,
agreed to?
right, so I still expect you to have the house straightened up. I still expect you to have the laundry done. I still expect you to have the meals ready. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Regardless of what you have planned to do on the side, because
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life After I Do.
doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
I am your host, Anisha G, and I'm here with my husband.
Your husband, Molito.
Yes, my husband, Molito, Maurice Gill.
Molito. Don't put my whole government out there.
Everybody knows your name.
Molito.
Or Maurice Gill.
Okay, Kanisha Gill.
Kainisha Gill, Maurice Gill.
Whatever, nigga.
Hi, babe.
Hey.
Really? I'm not doing this with you today.
You set the tone.
I don't have the energy or strength.
And
Energy.
I got energy. Got a lot of
You guys, I'm hungry. Okay, so
what's new?
it's
Women always hungry.
no, that's not true.
Women always hungry.
I've been up since 6:02 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and I hadn't had anything to eat. I got home at 4:10 p.m. and in between that time, I had nothing to eat, which is it's fine. Like I survived. And so when I got home, I guess you took Phoenix to Chick-fil-A today. So there was a half a wrap that he had left, and then I ate.
The healthiest thing at Chick-fil-A is a unseasoned chicken wrap.
It's really not even all that healthy.
Oh, it's like 600 calories for the whole wrap, but only ate half of it.
Yeah, and then I ate the other half. But I don't know, like, have you ever been so hungry that you want to eat, but you don't want to eat at all?
No.
Really? Because you said that you understood where I was coming from earlier.
About being hungry.
So anyway, I had went so long without eating anyway that I was like, I was hungry, but I wasn't hungry, but I was hungry. I don't even know if that makes sense. It made sense to me.
How long are we gonna talk about you being hungry?
Listen, it made sense to me. But then the craziest thing happened. Okay, so I'm on my way home and I'm like, okay, I was in the city. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop by like one of my favorite
You was in
spots.
the hood. Don't say the city.
Okay, the city, the hood, whatever. So Taco Pete's, there's this place called Taco Pete's and they have really good tacos. I was like, I'm gonna stop by Taco Pete's because I never get Taco Pete's. So I go to Taco Pete's. Taco Pete's is closed down, and then my mom tells me that they relocated. I'm like, okay, whatever. I need to get home because I'm already gonna be in like hella traffic. So on my way home, I finally get back to our side, our region of the area.
Away from the hood.
And I stopped at one of our favorite places, it's a place called Smoke and Grill.
Smoke and Fire.
Smoke and Fire. I'm hungry, sorry.
I mean, we're not getting paid for
it's a place called It's a place called Smoke and Fire. And I was like, oh, I'll stop and I'll get me some wings. So I go in and I'm like, when you're anticipating eating something that you normally enjoy. So I had that anticipation. And so I walk in and I'm like, hey, can I just get a order of wings? And she was like, oh, sure. And then she goes, you know what? Let me double check to make sure that we even have wings. And I'm like, what? So she goes back, she talks to the chef, she comes back, she was like, oh, we actually don't have wings today. I was like, okay, duly noted. So she was like, is there anything else I can get you? And I was like, no, I don't want anything else. That's all I wanted. So that happened. So after that, I come up this way, like getting closer to home. And I was like, oh, let me stop by Jersey Mike's. Really, Maurice? And I was like, let me stop by Jersey Mike's. So I go to Jersey Mike's and I go to order what I normally get at Jersey Mike's. And then she proceeds to tell me that they don't have all the ingredients for what I want to eat at Jersey Mike's. And I said, okay, God, I get it. You want me to go home and just eat what I have at home? Fine. So, so I came home and you had that half a wrap. So I ate the half a wrap. That was how my day went.
Wow.
How was your day?
Exhausting.
Why? Because You had to be a parent on your own
I
today?
had to be a parent all day. Uh,
Oh, wow.
10 out of 10 would not
Tell
recommend.
tell me about it. You had to be a parent on your own for a few hours and
10 out of 10 wouldn't recommend. First of all, it's the last day of school. It's Friday.
yes.
If y'all don't know, we're recording on Fridays.
Mhm.
Anyway, so it's Friday, so it's a minimum day. What's the point? Start at 7 out of 11. What's the point? What
I
is the
mean,
not even 7? They start at
45.
7:45. So practically 8 o'clock. So for 3 hours and 5 minutes,
Mhm.
you have my child.
Yeah. But that's because they still have to get funding.
So by the time I dropped her off, ran 2 errands because I had to go get stuff that she didn't get done during the week.
What? What'd you go get? The only thing you went and picked up today was the other half of her Christmas gift,
You'll
which
see,
I wasn't
you
responsible
you
for
saw
going to
them bags
get.
in there. I ain't gonna put your business on Front Street. So anyway, by the
What?
time I got back home, I said, "Well, damn, I'm gonna have to go get her in an hour. I can't even do that. I can't do nothing. I got an hour to get her." So then, of
Yeah.
course, I said, "I'm gonna just get her early." Now,
Right. And when I called, I was like, what are you doing? I called him at like 10:03 or something like that. And I was like,
I'm
what are
on
you
my
doing?
way
He was like, oh, I'm on my way to go get Phoenix. I was like, why are you getting her so early? She already gets out early. Why are you getting her
because I
even
can't.
earlier?
Because
And
I'm
he's
not.
no,
I'm
he's
not
like,
about
because
to deal with
I
after
can't
school
do
traffic.
I can't deal
Look
with
here,
after school traffic.
school traffic. I drive for a living. School
But
traffic.
he swears up and down that school traffic gives him anxiety.
It's a different beast. It's a different
You
beast.
gotta you just gotta know how
It's
to
a
manage it.
different
Like
beast.
for instance,
So
yesterday.
can I tell my day
Oh yeah, go
while you
ahead.
keep cutting me
Sorry.
off?
Sorry,
You
go
had your
ahead.
time.
Goodbye. I didn't cut you
Reclaiming my
off.
time.
Okay.
Reclaiming
Goodbye.
my time.
Go ahead and reclaim your
So
time.
anyway, I get there to pick her up early, which ended up being a bad idea because everybody their mama thought the same thing I said.
See?
Let's just get them early.
See?
And then so I'm in there, I'm waiting. I said, okay, I get a little lady behind the counter my ID. I'm here to pick up Phoenix. So I'm waiting. I'm like, man, it's taking a long time for them to get her. I'm like, oh my God. Like
Your classroom's like right next to
it's
the
like
office.
right, it's like right there. So turn out she was at recess. So she wasn't there about that. But then she came in the office with like 3 bags and a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh my God. I said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we get in the car. I said, okay, things I'm gonna take you to Five Below. I said, you can get one thing, but you have to pick out a Christmas gift for mommy. I said, do you know what you want to get mommy? And she said, I'm gonna get mommy a pillow because mommy loves pillows.
And that's funny because of what happened last night. So, okay, so let me see. One,
No,
two,
I'm still telling my story.
three.
So
Okay.
anyway, so then so we take off. I'm driving. I look behind me. She has a whole donut.
Huh?
I guess they hand out donuts in class. She proceeds to demolish this donut.
She ate the whole donut
The
or
whole,
she only ate the
she ate
top?
the whole donut. I think she ate the whole donut. And then she was like, "Dad, I got the candy cane too." I said, "No, you
No,
don't.
no.
No,
No,
you do
ma'am.
not.
No, ma'am. That's
No,
not how we do
no,
things
you
over
do not."
here.
So then we get the Five Below, and she said, "Okay, I'm gonna look for mommy stuff first." And she's like, basically, her attitude was, "Let's get mommy out the way so I can do what I want to do in here." So she goes and she gets out your gift or whatever that she found for you. And then she proceeds to walk around for 35 minutes because she's looking at everything. And I'm like, okay. I had to give her a countdown. So when I finally gave her a countdown, we finally got a five. First of all, we bought three items and it was $20.
At Five Below?
I thought Five Below was supposed to be $5 and below. They
Well,
capping.
taxes maybe?
They capping. So
I
then I
don't.
proceeded to go to Chick-fil-A because she said she was starving. So I took her to Chick-fil-A. I got my wrap. She ordered her food. She told the lady, I want chicken nuggets,
Mm-hmm.
French fries,
Mm-hmm.
and strawberry lemonade. I said, ma'am, I don't even think Chick-fil-A has strawberry lemonade. And she was like, no, 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 we do.
She knows.
So she got her
She
strawberry
knows what
lemonade.
she wants.
So then I ordered my chicken wrap with my diet lemonade because I said, hey, I'm at Chick-fil-A, might as well get lemonade. She proceeds to drink one sip of her lemonade and said, this ain't for me.
And drinks your
And then
lemonade.
said, Dad, I want yours.
Yep. That's typical Phoenix. That's what she does.
So then
And the only time she really drinks a strawberry lemonade is if we go to Starbucks and get a strawberry acai with the lemonade. That's the one that she wants. So she thinks all strawberry lemonade tastes like that.
So then now she on a sugar high, and now she's showing her ass in Chick-fil-A, so then she gets in trouble. So she comes home and we take a nap. And I said, "This is great," because I was tired. I was exhausted. So I napped for about an hour and a half. She napped for about 3 hours, and then she got up, and then she was like, first thing out her mouth was, "Dad, can I have a snack?" I said, "No, you can go downstairs and eat the rest of that Chick-fil-A you need to eat. That's what you can do."
And is that when she had called me to
And that's
ask
when
me
she
if
was
she could
like,
eat it in her bedroom?
that's when she was like, "I just want to talk to my mom." Mommy let me eat upstairs all the time.
No,
No,
I don't. She is
I
such
said,
a fibber.
I said, "Nah, pimp, go back downstairs."
Oh, and it's funny that she said that because, like, okay, so my week,
Yeah, I was done
my
with
week.
my day. I didn't tell about my week, but that's my
Oh, what
that,
was your
no,
week?
no,
Okay,
no. Go
well,
ahead.
my week was really, really rough because we had a really kind of rough day yesterday. Because going back to like what you said about eating in her room,
Hmm.
she came to the top of the staircase and she was like, "Hey, do we have any ice cream?" And I said, "Yeah, there was literally, quite literally, like 2 spoonfuls of ice cream left of sherbet." And I was like, "Yeah, you can have the ice cream." I said, "But you have to eat it downstairs at the table." So she's like, "Okay." So she goes into the kitchen, she gets the ice cream, and I start hearing footsteps going upstairs. And I was like, "Phoenix, where are you going?" And she was like, "Oh, I just wanted to finish my show and eat my ice cream." And I was like, "Yeah, but you're not going to do that upstairs." I was like, "You need to come downstairs, sit at the table and eat, and then you can go back upstairs." Well, that turned into a whole hour of, long story short, fit, a screaming match, me not being her friend, me not being a good mom because I didn't let her eat upstairs. I mean,
It
she
don't feel good,
went
huh?
all in yesterday. I took her to her room and I was like, "Well, you can sit here in your room and you can think about how, you behaved." And I was like, "And when you calm down, we will talk about what just happened because it's unacceptable."
Yeah.
And so she's going on, and she's like trying to keep it under wraps. Like I can hear her trying to calm herself down, but then like the anger of everything that has transpired is like getting to her because I ended up throwing the ice cream in the trash, like in front of her face. I ended up taking the
That's
ice cream from, and that's when
savage.
I did that. I have
Savage.
never seen that level of like
Anger.
of anger in my 6 year old because
That's
she was so upset that she couldn't go upstairs and eat her ice cream. So I was like, I kept telling her, and I mean, calmly, I didn't even raise my voice. Calmly, I said, every time she was like, "Can I go, please?" I said, "Phoenix, go to the table, finish your ice cream, then you can go upstairs." I said, "The more you sit here and cry about not being able to eat your ice cream upstairs, the more you're like neglecting the ice cream. So that also lets me know that it's really not that important to you." So she's going on. And so I said, "Forget it." I said, "The ice cream is sitting at the table melting." And I took the tub of ice cream and I threw it in the trash. Lord have mercy. When I threw that ice cream in the trash, she was like, "You can't just throw people's food away. That is so not responsible." It's I laughed about it, but not in her face. I laughed about it when she wasn't in my presence because it's like she's at the stage now where she's trying like to express herself and the new vocabulary that she's picking up through, how we speak to her and like what she's getting at school and stuff. She's trying to use those words, but she doesn't necessarily know how to really fit them,
Mhm.
in sentences. So when she says things like that, it's funny. So anyway, we get through all that. She comes back downstairs. We talk. We really talk it out. I talked to her about her behavior. She apologized. Blah blah blah. So I had mentioned to her. I said, and it was also really hurtful that you said something to me out of anger. I said you told me that I wasn't a good mommy because I didn't let you eat upstairs, and I was like, that really hurt my feelings, Phoenix. And she was like, "I'm so sorry. I love you, mommy. Don't go anywhere." And then she goes, "You make the best dinners."
She be capping. She be
I said,
capping.
"Phoenix, you are
I just
hilarious."
want to say welcome to the party. Welcome to the club. Cause I've
That was
been,
the first time
cause
like
I've been,
I really got like that I really got to that
yeah,
side
cause
of her.
I've been bad dad a couple times. You're such
Which
a bad daddy.
Oh, when she
You
got
don't
upset with
love
you.
me. You don't
You
love
don't
me.
love
You're a
me.
bad daddy, mean daddy.
And then once she like when she gets that way, we let her like, get it out. Like cuz that's just her raw emotion in that moment. And after a while like we always let her know when you can compose yourself and calm down, find a way to cool down, cool it off, then we can talk about what happened. So that was the same thing yesterday. Like when she finally calmed down, she always comes to us and she like yesterday she came to me once she calmed down and she was like, "Mom, can we talk?" And I said, "Yes, you can come downstairs and you can talk to me." And she was like, "Can you come upstairs?" And I said, "No, I cannot." I said, "But you can come downstairs and we can have a conversation." And she's like, "Okay." And so I let her go first. And she was, of course, the thing that she was hung up on was me throwing her ice cream away. And she was like, "You can't just throw people's food away. That's not responsible. And that hurt my feelings." And she was like, "And I was trying to talk to you and you didn't talk. And that's not nice."
The only problem is her talking to you is just her talking to you so she can do what she want to do.
Right. Right.
That's what talking to you
Right.
mean.
So anyway, that was probably like the highlight of my week. But other than that, it's like this past week, I feel like I wasn't under the weather, but I wasn't all the way with it. I
I
was
think I
very
think we
just
all
kind of
had like
I was
hiccups this
operating
week.
at a 6 this week. Just that's pretty much where I've been.
I've been at a 3 all December, so don't.
Yeah, I've been operating at like a 6. So,
Well, let's get into it
but
because
yeah.
you've been talking a lot.
So, anywho, well, I mean, catching up. So,
These people don't care about your life.
what? You're so rude. You're so rude. And I don't even know. I don't even know. Anywho,
Am I
today
adopted?
you are adopted. Wait, I forgot how that even came about.
You used to always call me. Yeah, that's why I don't. No one likes you, and you're adopted.
Oh no, it came out as a joke one time. Cause I was like, he had said something to me, and I was like, ha ha ha. I was like, that's why nobody likes you and you're adopted. But I meant it as like a joke, but I forgot, like, technically he was adopted.
It's not technically. I
Well,
was
yes,
legally adopted.
legally he was adopted, but I wasn't thinking that way when I
You don't.
said it,
You don't
babe.
think about how you hurt people's
Oh
feelings.
my gosh.
Typical woman. What we got today, boo?
Bye. Oh, and then sorry, just real quick, because after that I said I had told you when you were like I was adopted, and I was like, yeah, but it wasn't like a real adoption.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so getting into it today.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is like perfect, like a perfect segue, right? Um, Today we're gonna be talking about, is love enough
No.
to I was gonna say that was a prime example that love is not enough. Is love enough to keep a relationship together, to
No.
keep a marriage together?
No.
No?
No.
Why?
Because love is emotions, and emotions change and shift.
Yeah, you're right. So, in a
Because I
nutshell,
can love you, and I can like you, but don't necessarily mean I love and like you at the same time.
that is true.
I can like you and not love you,
That is true.
and I can also love you and not like you.
That is true.
Heavy on the not like.
Goodbye. So, yes, in a nutshell, short answer, like he said, love is not enough.
Damn, I
The
guess that's the episode.
the one of the reasons was why I wanted to talk about this is because of course most of us anyway are on social
Because
media.
you was listening,
Everybody has
you listen to Cisco, huh? It's
no.
love
Goodbye.
enough
Everybody has
to
there's all
make you
different types of like
stay with me.
relationship podcast, relationship things that are going on, and everyone gets online and they share their 2 cents. But something that I felt like I was hearing a lot was how people talk about, oh, like I wasn't in love with her anymore, or I found that I wasn't in love with him anymore. And it's when I start thinking about those long-term relationships, like when we look at people who have been together for extended periods of time, or
Mhm.
who have um met the commitment that they've made to a person, like till death do you part. Was it love that kept them together?
No,
No, I don't think that it was.
it was it
It
was
wasn't
it
it
was
wasn't just
it
love
was
that kept them
loyalty
together.
and consistency and sometimes options.
What do you mean by options?
And there are no options.
Bye. Bye, Demille. Bye. Anywho, so it got me to thinking about like just like our relationship, right? So
You
we're
mean your relationship?
it got me thinking
Just here for the ride.
to like our relationship, and when I think about like our hardships, and when I think about if for me, I'm speaking for me now, if I wasn't thinking about the future and my future and what I wanted that to look like, how easy would it have been for me at multiple periods during our relationship to walk away?
Uh,
And even during some of the time that we've been married, where, I've had conversations with other people, and it's like they would have been like, "Yeah, girl, like, you need to walk away
Behind
from that."
the door right there. Ain't
Stop.
nobody keeping you hostage.
But I think about the things that we've been through, and I think about like our hardships and our valleys
I don't
that
think our
we've
hearts has been that hard.
they haven't been like terrible. I mean, I've heard some really bad ones. We haven't been there, but what I'm saying is that the things that we have faced during the times where we didn't necessarily or weren't necessarily like in the headspace where we were still head over heels for each other. What are the things that you think that you focused
I
on?
must be honest. In these last like 2 3 weeks, I've been here, so
I
I've been
know.
on you.
I know. And that's another
I've been on your ass.
that's another thing, like, I'm gonna say it again, the ebbs and flows of relationships,
I've been
because
on your
we're
ass.
in a period, or like have been, where you've been kind of overly obsessed with me recently. And then once you kind of like get through that phase, I feel like then I get into that headspace, and then you're already like,
I'm over your ass.
yeah, I'm already over you. Like,
I tried. You wasn't there, so
so, but that happened. So anyway,
it's probably gonna happen when your birthday a couple
um
weeks. I'm like, she too old now. I need to remodel.
goodbye. So when I think about it, I mean, there's a multitude of things that you can focus on in other areas of your relationship that are just as important, if not more important, than love, that can help sustain a relationship. Um, I would say my five, right off the top of my
You got
head,
5 things, huh?
were trust,
Mm,
communication,
mm,
quality time,
mm.
shared
Sure,
responsibilities,
you're right.
and tolerance.
That's a big one.
Right. So out of those five, I
I think
say
you
focus
forgot that.
on,
I think you forgot friendship.
well, friendship is in there too.
Obviously
But
not, because you didn't say the word. But okay.
well, but what I'm saying is that there's so many different sub subjects to
Ebbs
that.
and flows.
But the five that stuck out to me was the shared responsibility, the communication, quality time, tolerance, and trust. And then of those five, I would say the quality time, shared responsibilities, and tolerance are like, for me, like the meat of it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of all of those, I would say the top ones would be tolerance,
Mm.
because tolerance involves patience, it involves respect, appreciation, acceptance. I think tolerance is one of those things that when you are having those disagreements and those collisions in your relationship, tolerance is going to be the one that kind of helps mediate and gets you through it. Because, like I said, a part of tolerance is the acceptance, a part of tolerance is the appreciation, a part of tolerance is going to be the patience and the respect, which are all aspects of a relationship that you should
And the
maintain.
loyalty.
And the loyalty, that all those aspects are things that you should maintain throughout the relationship, even when quote unquote love isn't there,
It's love enough.
right? So
Make you
when we
say
talk
yeah.
about trust, tell me from your perspective, how does trust help you to get through the difficult times?
I'm not gonna say what I first thought because I had something petty to say. I'm not gonna say it. Um, I
Okay.
think trust helps you because I'm with someone that I trust that is going to always do right by me, have my best interest in heart, even when we're not necessarily in the best of places, you know. And I can trust the fact that you're gonna move in the same manner when everything is good, when everything is not so good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna switch up just because we're going through a rough patch. You're not gonna stop doing the things that you do now. I mean, you might not get a booty up as often or something, but you gonna do a little. But like as far as like representing yourself or showing yourself as my wife,
Showing up in the relationship.
those things are not going to change. And I can trust that you can be steadfast in your representation of me and of our union and of your duties of our union. Right. That's one thing I can trust. Now, I was gonna say also when going back to tolerant, I said when the tolerance part is everyone has has a limit or an amount of tolerance that they um allow a person to have. Like I'm gonna tolerate X amount before we get to a point to where hey, now I got
I gotta say this.
something has to be said, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when you've been together as long as we've been together, like I think we both kind of know, like, okay, they about to be at their limit. Let me slow down. Like I
Hmm.
know, like I can push her this far
Hmm.
by, maybe not doing things I normally would do or saying certain things, but I know like, hey, I'm getting to the line where once I cross this, it will be an issue. And I think now you're gonna tolerate me, but in that instance, now you're trusting me not to cross that line. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? So that's how that goes together. So
So yeah, with the tolerance, that's why I say the tolerance portion is really big. Um, the tolerance portion is big when we talk about moving the relationship like along. I know for me, there are certain aspects about your personality, right?
that you love.
That I am not the fondest of.
Like what? Let's listen. Let's talk
No.
about it. No, we got a platform. Talk about it.
Or
No,
your tendencies. I would say like
okay, let's
I
talk
would
about
say
it.
your
Let's
tendencies.
talk about them.
But when I think about some of the tendencies that you have that I'm not entirely fond of, I also have to take a step back and realize that
That you benefit from every tendency I
no,
have.
that some of the tendencies you've always had, right?
Like what?
So you've been consistent with it.
Like what?
Babe, I'm not going to get into your tendencies. Just speak. Let me speak.
Oh.
Goodness gracious.
We ain't cutting people off at the beginning of the episode.
Thank you.
They got something to
I
say
didn't
now.
cut you off.
Okay, go ahead.
Um so yeah, so like I was saying, some of the tendencies that you have that I don't necessarily um that don't necessarily rub me the right way
Mm.
are also tendencies I have learned
Deal with.
to live with and to tolerate, because for me
See,
they are not things that are deal breakers for me. They are more of an annoyance sometimes.
you out
But
here
then I
sounding like I'm out
also
here just irritating the hell out of
no, but
you.
but here's the thing too, and this is what I know about me. I am very much a person sometimes that I expect me of others, right? So I expect how I would handle a situation, I will expect you to handle the
Why would I do
situation.
things the wrong way?
Stop it.
I'm just like,
So the way I handle certain things are the way that I would expect him to handle them. And when I take a step back and I think about like, okay, this is who my husband is, this
mm,
is his tendency, and this is how he normally goes about things, then I'm less inclined to kind of like judge it, if that makes sense.
mm.
But I feel like that is something that I tolerate because I can also respect that you see things differently than I do. I can respect the fact that
I
you are
wish I had
going
an
to go
example
about
so I could like rebuttal this.
okay, the first thing that comes to mind is family.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Cause see, he already knows what I mean. He already knows what I mean.
Go ahead and tell
But
people what you mean.
he just the way in which we interact with each other's um like each other's family. The way I interact with your family and the way you interact with my family.
Mm.
They're completely different. But I know that for me, like I said, I would have a tendency to expect me and how I operate and deal and interact with people. I
Hmm.
expect for you to be the
Now
same way, but you are not.
Let's be
And that's
fair.
okay.
Let's be fair about that because there's members of my family where I treat just like I treat your family.
Okay.
I really only show love to my siblings
But
and a couple
but
cousins.
here's the thing.
Shout out to Gray.
What I'm saying is I tolerate to a certain extent some of your tendencies
Mhm.
because they're not necessarily deal breakers, right?
I'm pretty.
They're not.
I feel like I'm
Why are you
pretty
cutting
good.
me
I'm
off?
sorry, but I feel like I'm
I
pretty
know,
good
but you
to
can't say I'm sorry and then keep talking.
because I feel like
We
I'm being
can never
attacked.
complete a something. I'm
I
not
feel like I'm
attacking
being
you.
attacked. Okay,
I'm
okay.
not
I'm gonna let it
attacking
go. I'm gonna let
you.
it go. You're right. I'm gonna let it go.
But what I'm saying is, if I can finish, I tolerate those tendencies and have tolerated some of the tendencies throughout our relationship because they are not necessarily deal breakers and they are not necessarily something that I can get so hung up on to where it starts to affect our relationship or my interaction with you.
Mm.
Right? But I also feel like because, as we continue to grow together, you can pick up on certain things from my behavior or my vibe when I feel like, getting to a point where that I'm going to say something. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Like you know how to read me sometimes where you will interject and say something or do something where it's like you can look at me and be like, "Oh, she's starting to get annoyed." Or she's going to get upset. So let me try to be more sociable, or let me you know what I mean,
Hmm.
so that I can appreciate. But as far as like me tolerating some of the things that do annoy me about you, I've learned to appreciate some of those things and I can respect some of those things because I do understand that just because you think a different way doesn't necessarily make it wrong, because it doesn't. You see things differently, just like how I see things differently. Your point of view and perspective is different, just like my point of view and perspective is different, and I think that's what makes it work too.
Okay.
Really, babe? Really? Okay. So going back to the other points, like quality time. Obviously, quality time is important. We've talked about this. I feel like if not every episode, multiple episodes.
Gotta get that bubble time.
We gotta get that bubble time, because if you're not growing together, you're growing apart. So it's important to make sure you prioritize time with your partner. It's important that you prioritize your partner's interests. I think that's a big thing too. It's like, just because I don't have an interest in some of your hobbies doesn't necessarily mean and gives me the free pass to be like, oh, we can't do this because I don't like to do that, and
I
that's the
think
thing that you like.
I do. I think I do a good job at supporting your hobbies. I think I do.
What financially? Because you don't do any of my hobbies with me. That's not true. But you don't participate in all my hobbies, is what I'm saying. What?
But I support them. I buy you everything you need.
Okay. You do.
Do I not?
Yes.
And yet and still, I have no KitchenAid mixer.
Oh my gosh. If you want a KitchenAid mixer, babe, you can get a kit. I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
No, give me. I'm gonna take it right back.
What? See, and then you do that. If I say, okay, you tell me you want something, I go get it, and then you be like, oh, I'm gonna return it. Just like your Christmas gift last year. I got you exactly what you said you wanted for Christmas. And the first thing he did was say, where's the receipt?
Took that motherfucker right back.
And he took it right back.
We didn't have no money to spend. Took that right back.
It's like anytime I try to do like a nice gesture for him, he's always immediately like, okay, well, how much did you spend though? And it's like, but it's
Run it
for
back.
you. But then don't complain that people don't think about you or that people
I
don't
don't.
try to
But
do things for
the thing is,
you.
when I say you don't think about me, I want the little things. I don't want big
I know.
things.
And I do the little things and the big things.
Yeah, you do.
Oh my gosh. I'm not. I'm, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with
You're
you.
not doing what?
Any of it. Um so yeah, going back to quality time.
We talk
Obviously
about
that
quality time, and I can't say what I had to say. We
obviously
talk.
that
We literally sit here talking about quality time. That's part of quality time, ain't it?
well, this is part of our quality time. Like, now that I think about it, when going back
Oh
to
my
quality
god, you
time,
sound like
this is tech
Stefan.
this is technically quality time together,
You
us
sound
doing
like
the podcast
you sound
together.
like Stefan. You guys, at least you guys get to hanging out together. I'm just saying you're hanging out.
This nigga want to hang out with me every
I,
day.
I've been on your ass.
What is he talking about?
like
Don't
I
let him sit up here and cap y'all.
I'm gonna tell you something, people. For like the last like 2.5, 3 weeks, I've been on my wife. I've been just trying to be under her.
He calls me like every 5 minutes,
Like, yo,
and he be like, "But
why
why are you not obsessed
why
with
you not
me the
obsessed
way
with
I'm
me?
obsessed with you?
like
I
like
don't
I ain't shit.
understand. I'm obsessed with you, and you're not obsessed
It's
with
all
me."
right. It's all right.
And I'm like, "It's not that I'm not obsessed with you, but I legit have things that I have to
I'm
do."
at work. I'm thinking about you.
Okay, but I was at work too. I was knee deep in 3 loads of laundry.
You got 2 more upstairs too.
I don't like you. Um so the next point
Mm.
is shared responsibilities.
What responsibilities do we share?
We share responsibilities.
Which ones?
Um Pretty much the things that you're responsible for and the things that I'm responsible for. That's
No, sharing
sharing
responsibilities.
responsibilities.
No,
Sharing
that.
responsibilities of like raising our child.
Okay.
We share the responsibility of raising our child.
No, I protect, you nurture and raise. I protect and provide for her.
Okay, but that's still taking care of her and that's still sharing the responsibility of her. Is it not?
I think I'm doing a great part on my side.
Okay. Anywho, shared responsibilities. I think shared responsibilities are a really big one. The reason why I say shared responsibilities are a really big one, speaking from like my perspective, the female perspective, when we feel as though we're taking on a lot and we're not getting help, but we have partners. Resentment is something that is very like
That
easy
goes
and
both
always,
ways.
yeah, I assume that that it does. But resentment is always, I always like to say like resentment is always like a door away. You know, when you feel like you're taking on like the bulk of carrying the family when it comes to taking care of the family, doing the errands, taking care of the house, still having to take care of the husband. You know what I mean? When you're wearing all of those hats, and as a woman, we wear so many different hats and so many things fall on our shoulders. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
We got it so bad.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I did not say that. I think that equally both men and women shoulder a lot, okay?
Mhm.
But we're going to be honest when it comes to taking care of the household and rearing the children,
I think that's.
majority of that responsibility falls on women. And when yeah, it does. It actually does.
I don't rear this child at all.
I didn't listen here, like I said, majority of that responsibility falls on women,
Okay.
and that can become a lot. It's the mental load that weighs probably the most, okay? And
Mhm.
when a woman starts to feel like she doesn't have any help, but I'm sitting up here and I'm in a relationship, resentment is very easy
And
to
that
follow.
and that go both ways. When a man feels like I'm doing everything here, I'm doing everything in my power to provide financially, and I'm showing up when I can, when I'm not providing, and I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel like my efforts are being
Respect it.
respected, and I'm coming home and I'm having to address things or do things that I should not have to address or do because these are the guidelines that we've been put in place, and you're not living up to your part. So now I'm doing my part and part of your part. That's when a lot of men be like, well, if that's when a lot of men get to the point to where it's like, well, if I'm providing everything and then have to come in and do half of the domesticated work or 40% of the domesticated work and still do the child rearing and all this stuff, and I'm responsible for everything financially and responsible for to make sure everything like certain things get done inside the house, then yeah, then I'm gonna start being feeling resentful. I'm gonna start feeling like I'm being used, and at a certain point, I'm gonna start to try to look for a better option.
Okay, so I'm not going to discredit any of that. However, I will say, yeah, yeah.
However,
However, I will say, you have there are men who will do that, right? But like you said, 40% of the housework or domesticated work or whatever. I feel like this could go off into a huge tangent and on a completely different subject, but since you brought it up, we're going to talk about it. You have women who work and still carry most of the household load
hmm
and carry most of the load when it comes to children, right?
And it ain't my fault who
So
she chose.
the thing is especially men who here's the thing, men, you focus so much on the financial, which is a huge portion, right? Because we
Mhm.
we got to live, right? So you think that the financial is just really the it's just that's the bullet point for you, is
Nope.
the financial. With women, it's the financial, it's the security, it's the stability, it's the kids, it's the house, it's outside the house. Like, I don't think,
And
hold
like,
on, before you, don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you, right? All of the things that you mentioned are
really?
all of the things that women think about,
Mm.
carry, and do on a daily basis, and some even with the financial, because you have some women who still do all of those things and still work a full-time job and contribute financially to the household
Where they at
that
though?
that man is so hung up on, that he provides for.
Where they at though?
But the woman will still go to work, bring in an income, still have to do bath time, still have to do homework, still
Okay.
don't interrupt me, still have to clean kitchens, still have to clean bathrooms, still have to make sure that everybody gets breakfast in the morning, still have to make sure that there's lunch, still have to make sure that they're not ruining their child because they decided to yell at them because they lost their temper. All of the mental stuff, that's what I try to explain. It's the mental load that can become really heavy that not a lot of men carry. You carry the mental load of being a protector and a provider when it comes to the finances and all of that. And that is really important. We get it, we understand it. But the mental load of being a mother and the mental load of being a woman, that has its own challenges. And then on top of that, having to be responsible for majority of taking care of a household and the majority work when it comes to children is a lot. Okay. So when we talk about shared responsibilities and I talk about resentment, that's why you hear a lot of women when they talk about how they can start resenting their husbands or they can start resenting their boyfriends because they don't feel like they're getting enough help.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And
I'm
hold
not
on. And I get I get what you're
20.
because I get what you're saying. I get
Okay,
what
but
you're
you're not letting me
saying.
respond to what
Okay,
you're
go
saying.
ahead. Respond. I want to hear. I want to hear it. Go ahead.
It don't even matter now. It don't matter now.
Seriously? It
Because
does
I
matter.
literally said
But you were interrupting
because you
me.
literally sat there and said all that, then got back to the talking point. Well, let me interject and say let me get my lick back.
Okay.
You got your lick,
No one's trying to get a lick.
right?
We both work
So like
together.
what I'm saying is, and the women in your situations that you described, they should feel some type of ways. But I'm talking about men that are out here providing 100% financial support to the family unit.
Okay.
Right? Now, I agree. It is my standpoint, and I know this is not popular among the men. If you are one of those men where your wife works, you need to be working inside that house because you're not providing her with a space to just be in her feminine energy or just be in a motherly, wifely role. If she's out there helping you provide, then you need to take on some of the housework, some of the hurt work with the children. What I was talking about earlier, I was talking about the men who go out here day in and day out, and they are the sole financial provider. I'm not talking about the women out here working. I as when you were working, right? I did not expect you to do everything around here. Matter of fact, when you were working, I did 90% of the cooking because
I
you were
wouldn't
working.
say 90. You did
Okay.
a lot of cooking.
All
I
right.
would not say 90, but you did do a lot of cooking. Yes.
And we did grocery shopping together. Sometimes I would grocery shop by myself, but now that the dynamic has changed, you know what I'm saying? And now that I provide 100% of the financial here, you now are essentially 97% of the domestication stuff around here. And I come in when you are overwhelmed or when you just say, hey, babe, I ain't got it in me this today, or I just need you help. And that's when I come in,
That's because
right?
that's something that we have
That,
agreed
right.
upon.
But what I'm saying is when a man is 100% the financial provider, right? And then he still has to come home and do domestic stuff. He still has to help out with kids. He has to make sure things are in order inside the home and outside the home. that is when they fall into the realm of they start to um get into the mindset like you're talking about. They start to feel like they're not being
The resentment.
they're starting to resent. They're starting to feel like they're not appreciated. They're not respected, and that they get into the mindset of I'm going to now start to resent you because honestly, as a man, we get to a point where we hit the point to where it's like I can do bad by myself. I can be out here struggling to take care of all this without the added responsibility of making sure you're okay as well.
Yeah, men and women have thought that as well. I think this made me think about an episode of cruise season that I
Shout
had
out.
listened to. Shout out to the cruise season, love
He would
them
have
too.
been. That's my nigga.
But they had a one of their Patreon members write in, and long story short, she was beginning to resent her husband because they were on child number 4. He expressed to her even before they got married that he wanted 4 to 5 kids, right?
Mhm.
And he wanted more of a traditional setting in the relationship. They've been married 12 plus years. They have 4 kids. They had a 12-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 3-month-old. Okay. And she makes $200,000 a year on her own.
Oh, she worked.
Her husband makes 185,000.
I'm
Okay.
staying home. Who
Her
cares?
issue was that they both work from home. She also had a side hustle where she did photography on the weekends, but they have 4 kids. Her issue was that when he after he works, he plays video games. He suffers from a little bit of insomnia. He plays video games, doesn't go to bed till like 3 o'clock in the morning or so, leaving her to do most of the things, getting up and down at night with the kids, with the newborn by herself. And her complaint is that he doesn't help her with the kids, even though he's home. Like he's home all the time. And even when he's not
Mm.
clocked in for work, he still doesn't help with the kids. And she's starting to become resentful. So, one of the aspects that they had talked about was how she was somewhat in the wrong because he already expressed to her prior to their marriage and have been throughout their marriage that he wanted more of a traditional household. Because when she came to him and said that she was feeling overwhelmed, she was starting to feel resentful because she takes care of the kids and she still works and she has a side hustle, his response to her was,
Quit your job.
quit your job.
That's what I would have said.
That's what he said. So then she said when she started therapy, and she was surprised that when her therapist told her,
Quit your job.
quit your job. The therapist told her the same thing. The therapist said, quit your job. If you're
Can I say something though?
hold on. If you're feeling overwhelmed, quit your job. Her husband said, quit your job because I make more than enough money to cover us entirely. We have our house, we have our cars, our kids are straight, they're in private school. Everything is settled. Even without your income, we will still be fine because his way of thinking is a traditional way of thinking. And so the guys were just debating between, I guess old school traditions and new school traditions. And the debate became that if you're in a traditional household, as a man who provides 100% financially for a household, does he still have any duty and responsibility to inside the household?
Okay.
And based on traditional aspects of what they said, like even prime example for us, you're not you're not held accountable to the domestication stuff around here in our household.
Mhm.
Do you help if I need help? Yes, but I don't expect you to clean bathrooms, to sweep, to mop, to do dishes, to put away dishes. Like you don't do those things. Those are things that I do because we've agreed to those terms at this point, right? So I think when you talk about something like that where you have a man who's providing 100% and then he still has to come home and still have to do 40 or 50% of domesticated work because the woman isn't taking care of holding up her end of the bargain. I think that goes back to the other point that I stated earlier that helps long-term relationships, which is the communication. There's a breakdown in communication somewhere because somewhere someone is not understanding what their role is right now. So
Or
if
they just
you
don't
come
care.
like how you came and told me, I'm going to take care of everything. If you quit your job, we're going to be okay because I'm going to figure it out because I'm now taking that as my responsibility. But if I do that, This is what I'm requiring of you as my wife. And if you can't agree to that,
Go back to work.
then this is what we're going to do. But if you want to be home and you want to be with our child and I want you to be home and I want you to be with our child, this is the way the structure is going to have to work. That was a conversation that was had. We came to an understanding of what our portion of this shared responsibility is going to be, correct? So
Mhm.
if you have a situation where you have a man who's providing 100%, but he also hasn't made it clear, or there hasn't been any type of clear communication as the expectation of what he is to provide and what he is willing to do and what she is going to provide and what she's willing to do, then that's a really like that's a real hard conversation that needs to be had.
Mm.
What do you think?
I was just I didn't wanna talk without, because
Okay, what were
apparently,
you gonna say?
I was gonna well, can I respond to the thing first?
Yes.
I agree with the therapist, she should quit her job because he communicated effectively at the beginning what kind of marriage and what lifestyle he wanted.
Right.
So he's acting as if, and you agreed to this. He's acting as if you've already agreed to this, right? So
Hmm.
I agree. Quit your job. He said he makes more than enough to take care of the family. So he's basically saying everything you do outside of this is stuff that you're agreeing to take on yourself is not part of my deal, right?
It's basically not what I
Right.
signed
And
up
that's just
for
kind of
when I
like,
told you
and that's
what the
kind of,
program was before you
and
agreed to marry me.
and that's kind of like that's similar to our dynamic, right? It's like, yes, I take care of 100% of the financial load, right? You have we'll just say 99% of the domestic load. If you decide to do something on the side or you have a side job, that doesn't, in my eyes, that doesn't exclude you from taking care of what you have to take care of in the house. So if
What
you're
have I
gonna,
agreed to?
right, so I still expect you to have the house straightened up. I still expect you to have the laundry done. I still expect you to have the meals ready. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you have planned to do on the side. Because like I always say, when you go out here and you do your makeup jobs or you do your craft orders or whether what may be, I always tell you that is your money. I don't come looking for you to give me your money. That's not the setup or the dynamic that we have. If you want to give me your money, I ain't gonna turn it down.
Goodbye.
But I'm not looking,
You sure won't.
for it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So and I do think that in regards to shared responsibility, she in that example, she needs to understand that in that man's eyes, he's living up to his responsibility because he's making enough to provide enough for his family, and he sees his wife as working as something that she wants to do.
Right.
Because I'm not forcing you to work. We good over here with just me. So I would agree with the therapist. I would say, yeah, you need to go ahead and quit that job because I ain't doing shit around here.
Nigga, but it's 200K.
Oh, but with taxes, he's making 185. She's making 200.
Right.
That's 300. Okay,
Yeah.
so exactly.
So
They're
even
probably
though you're
hold on. Don't interrupt me. They're probably sh- she's probably making 200K, but she's probably only seeing because of both of them together. She's probably only seeing like
100.
a half of that. Once everything's said and done, even with the kids, once everything's said and done, because of the tax bracket that money hit,
Yeah.
so it ain't gonna be that big. He probably feel like if he really wanted to hustle and go out and make it like, cause like it's similar to the conversation I had with you. The money we would lose from you not working, I could easily make up by just working more. Now, granted, I won't be around,
Exactly.
but you don't have to work, and you've sat in that peacefully for the last 3 years. So don't act like that's the problem. He said, "Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and take a nap since you're going to work."
Goodbye. No, I didn't.
Don't sit here act like you struggle. Oh, I wish I could see my husband before the sun went down today. No, you don't. You be like, so you gonna be home at 10 or 11 tonight? What
Good
time? You think you be
goodbye.
home a little early tonight? No.
Anywho, that's exactly why I say in the points that I talked about earlier in the episode. Communication is amongst those 5 things
Mm,
that are going to be really important outside of love to keep the relationship moving forward. there's just going to be times where we're not going to be on the same page. We're just not going to like each other all the time. And we're going to have to really rely on those other aspects of the relationship to carry us through until we can get to the other side. And that's going to be part of our work. And that's going to be part of us fighting for our relationship. And we're going to do that through the trust, through the communication, through our shared responsibilities, through our tolerance and our quality time,
Especially quality time.
especially
We gonna
quality
work. We
time.
gonna work it out.
And it makes me think it makes me think about too, like when you're not even in the mood to like look at your partner, or you're in one of those weird stages where y'all just not feeling each other. The last thing you think you want to do is spend quality time. But that's one of the things that you need to do.
Sometimes you gotta go somewhere with just your spouse so you can look at them like, you know what, I
I
actually like
actually
this
still
motherfucker.
do like you. And I kid you not, hand on
I mean, I
Bible,
don't need that because I've been obsessed with mine.
we've had moments where we've gone out to dinner or something, and we just kind of like look at each other, or I'll catch him like looking at me, or I'll look at him and I'm just like, I actually do like you. Like it's really hella fun hanging out with you. You know what I mean?
What can I say? I'm a fun guy.
So anywho, yeah. So shared responsibilities kind of went off on a tangent. Took up a lot of
Yeah,
time because
because
my husband got so defensive for some reason, and I
you
don't
ain't
know
finna come
why.
for me.
I didn't come for you. I was speaking in generalities. I
And
don't even
what?
know if that's a word.
I can't.
Generalities.
I can't talk.
You know what? I can't either because I'm hungry. Uh,
I'm gonna feed you something soon.
so, so yeah. So I think that's gonna take us right into our 2 cents,
Messy time.
which I mean, it's really not messy because I feel as though it kind of like really talks about what we were talking about today.
Mm.
Let's see. Oh, I'm in the wrong section. I'm like, what am I
Wow.
looking at?
She can't control her own phone.
I can't. Okay. It's a little lengthy.
Oh my
Um
god, it's an accident.
I've been married for 30 years, but I've never been in love with my wife.
Damn.
Okay? My wife is my best friend, and she has been my best friend since before we were married. I was deeply and passionately in love with the girlfriend I had before my wife. And no, it wasn't just I'm old enough now to fully understand the difference. However, she turned out to be an awful person. I'm still in love with the idea of her, not the person she actually is. And I think I will always carry a torch for the idea of her. My wife is on the opposite end of the spectrum, and the contrasting positive relationship we've developed was incredibly refreshing. So, is it dishonest to tell my wife I love her? Not at all. My wife is my best friend, and I love her as my best friend. My wife, like all people, has her flaws, but she is the best human being I have ever met. I have never felt worthy of her love and friendship. I feel this way mainly because if my wife were to ask me if I was truly in love with her, I would be compelled to lie and say yes, because the truth would be such a painful betrayal of all we've worked together to build and achieve over the past 30 years. I've never confided in anyone with this secret for fear that it would somehow get back to my wife and hurt her. I even hesitated to put this online anonymously. But the end of my life is near, and I wanted someone to know that if you can't always get what you want in life, for me, I will never know a deep and passionate love again. I count myself fortunate to have known such a love once in my life. However, I count myself more fortunate to have been spent decades with my best friend. It seems that the Rolling Stones played the anthem to my life. You can't always get what you want. But I think it's safe to say that we both got what we needed. And when I take a hard look at those around me of similar age, we are truly lucky. I don't really feel better for getting this off my chest. It was somewhat cathartic to write it out. But this, like other secrets that will do more harm than good, will be taken to my grave. It does make me wonder how many painful secrets my own parents and grandparents took to their graves. It is the greatest gift that we gave our children that they will never appreciate until they give such a gift to their children.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts about that? Especially that end part. Because, like, going back to the beginning of the episode, when we talk about when you look at marriages who have sustained 50 years of marriage, 60 years of marriage. Do you
Ah,
really think they
I
got through all of that
n
holding hands, being happy,
well,
and just
no,
so in
no,
love?
no, you don't. But my response to that, that essay you just read, um, is
The essay.
I would argue that he was in love with his wife, and because he said that she was
His best friend.
his best friend,
Mhm.
and they had a beautiful
Beautiful life
life
together.
together. They had good times.
Yep.
I would just argue that it just didn't feel the same way as the previous girl.
As he felt about the
Yeah.
girlfriend. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you wasn't in love with her. It just didn't feel that way. Because I
Or
feel
maybe
like
he loved her, but not in love with her.
I no, I feel like he was in love with her because you can love somebody and walk away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you have to have a certain like thing that kind of like occasionally rekindles in order to keep you entertained and
Mhm.
keep you there to go in with the being in love, loving, and loyalty. Like it all goes in together. It's kind of like a revolving door.
Mhm.
So I would say you lived a good life, so don't complain.
Yeah. I think for me, that makes me really, it kind of just makes me really think about how different love is for men and women, right? Women, we can get very caught up in the emotional, right? And we can
Hmm.
get very caught up in like the idea and the theatrics of relationships and love and stuff. But listening to that and thinking about the gravity in which when a man has like really decided that you are his person or that you are going to be his wife or that he's in love with you, it's like the lens in which you guys look through love is very different. You know what I mean? So like as he's describing friendship, it's like it sounds so beautiful because outside of, it's almost like looking at the pretty girl and the girl who's not so pretty, right? But the girl who's not so pretty is the one who gets his attention and the one he marries and spends the rest of his life with, because outside of physical beauty, she is beautiful because she can make him laugh. She, he thinks that she can be a great mother to his future children. She has sustenance when they talk. She can hold a conversation. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the girl who's just like a beautiful girl. Like the girlfriend, he was in love with her for whatever reason. We don't know why he was in love with her, but he created a beautiful life with his wife of 30 plus years, right? So there was more aspects other than love
Hmm.
that helped him to sustain a 30-year marriage that he's proud of,
Hmm.
right? He's proud like how he said they were able to have 30 years together. They built a beautiful life together. He's never known anybody as great as her. She's been a friend to him. And that's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like that's absolutely beautiful. And he didn't talk about how in love and obsessed he was over his wife because the way he kind of like, how he put it, he didn't even love her. But he did. Like how you said, I absolutely do
I
think he did
think
as well.
I think his downfall is he's trying to compare it to.
Probably trying to compare the feeling, you think?
Hmm.
That he got when he had the girlfriend and then met his wife. But it's just so interesting to me that he had the girlfriend who he thought he was in love with, but it was something about his,
He
well, he
wasn't
was in love with,
yeah. She was
but
just
there was
asking.
something about his wife that made him want to marry her.
I would say count your blessings because a lot of people just end up with the wrong person, and seem like you end up with a good one.
Hmm. And you built a good life. Well, guys, I thought that was a really good discussion.
I thought you sunned me a lot of times.
I would.
Sunned me.
Sunned you?
Yeah, you played me like you try to put me in my place. I'm talking. I'm talking. I'm talking. Oh, yeah, we can have a conversation off air about this.
Am I going to be in trouble?
You nasty.
This has been another episode of Life After I Do
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
with your host, Nisha G and Mo Lethal. New episodes every Wednesday. Do not forget to follow us if you are not already on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Life After I Do podcast. If you would like to write in to us or you want us to discuss a topic that you are interested in, don't forget to write into us at lifeafteridopodcast@gmail.com. And until then, we will catch you all next week. Peace.
Hey.